Hi everyone, this is Holly from Hot Humble Pie. Welcome or welcome back to my Christmas series. We are going to be having so much fun this year, and as always, I hope you enjoy the show. For this project, I folded some poster board in half, and I'm freehanding a Gingerbread Man the best I can. I'm using the template here from the Dollar Tree. Those are one of the little felt gingerbread men, or no, they're foam. They're really thin foam. And it just kind of helped me on the curve under his arm do a bigger version. And once I was happy with the template I got, I went ahead and taped it down onto the tile with masking tape. This is a great method when you want to center your project. It stops it from slipping around because it's really hard to cut these and get them to stay straight. So definitely try to secure your template down with something. Once I had it cut out, I took some poster board and also cut that out and glued it onto the back because these are kind of flimsy and I just wanted to give it a nice backing. You can also take a big cereal box and cut it out, and you know how the back of it's kind of brownish? That would also make a really pretty back for this. In fact, I think it would be even better. I just don't have any cereal right now, but it would look more like a gingerbread color. But I went ahead and used poster board for now. Using my last bit of Waverly chalk paint in the color plaster, I'm giving this one coat of paint. If you don't have Waverly chalk paint, you can recreate this look using apple barrel paint in the color Antique Parchment. You'll just need to do 2 coats and let it dry thoroughly in between each coat. Now I'm using the color Nutmeg from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm just doing a dry brush on him to bring out all of the tile designs. I definitely wanted this little guy to be warm like gingerbread or cinnamon. I just think that is so cozy for the holidays. So I'm just building it up layer by layer each time I dry brush until we get him nice and dark. Again, this is personal preference. You can absolutely do this any way you want. You could stop right here. I definitely wanted to go a little bit darker because I wanted him to be like almost completely solid, but not solid like this. So he looks nice and warm and gingerbreadish. Now I'm just giving him a quick blow dry so that we can move on to the next step. So I'm taking this baker's twine and I'm wrapping it around 4 of my fingers. I love baker's twine for Christmas. I think it is so perfect. It's like a candy cane stripe. And I'm making a bow. So I just wrap it around my fingers, tie it in the middle, and then glue it into the center under his neck. Next, I'm going to add some of this pine that I bought off of Amazon. The link is down below in my description box. And I'm going to glue those down underneath the bow. Now, I did think about putting little candy buttons on him, but I decided I wanted this guy to look more natural and rustic. I love this craft the way it came out, you guys. I didn't really know where I was going with this. It was kind of just, I was ad-libbing all the way through it, and it came up so cute. Wait and see. But I'm taking this Dollar Tree paper towel holder, and now I'm using the nautical rope from the Dollar Tree as well, and we're going to wrap it up. So I just started at the bottom by gluing the pieces together to hold them in place, and then you wrap it all the way around until you cover it. Once you're at the top, you're going to start spinning it over the little arch to cover that part. And then when you're done and you feel like the metal is covered good enough, you're just going to pull it to the side and glue it on top of the last row and then cut the ends off. Using hot glue, you'll see how I glue, because the end is frayed, it's kind of, you can see like yellow rope and stuff. You can see me taking my thumb. Yes, it's hot. I am using low heat though. It's not actually burning me. If you guys haven't worked with glue guns, don't do that. It might hurt you. Use this little silicone spatula, which I also get at the Dollar Tree. The pink one right there is the only one that works to keep the glue from sticking. But you just press those little threads underneath in between the rows and it hides it beautifully. Now I'm gluing my gingerbread man on top of the little stand that I made. On the bottom, I'm going to take some of the Walmart twine and wrap that as well. Now, you certainly could do a really tight wrap here and then just call it a day and leave it, and that would be a beautiful stand for this gingerbread man. I just needed something on the bottom to be there so that I could glue things on top of it for my next step. So you can see here how I did not bunch them up together. They're just serving as a pretty base for the next step that I'm going to do here, where I'm taking some pine, cutting off the bottom branches, and I'm just going to start gluing that all around on top of the twine. Next, I'm taking these little Christmas baubles from the Dollar Tree. I have them in gold and red, and I'm going to glue those down on top of the pine. And then these are these foam scatter. I think they're for like a tabletop, but they sell them every year for Christmas, and I just thought they were perfect to add in for little embellishments that made it look Christmassy. I'm putting a pop of color in there with the green Christmas tree. Oh my gosh, this came up so pretty, you guys. I love this one. I'm adding stars, Christmas tree, berries. We're all done, and here's our little gingerbread man. I'm using a stocking template that I had from last Christmas and some masking tape, and I'm taping it down as best I can to the center of the tile so that the design in the middle there will land in the middle of the stocking, and then I cut it out. I'm using some hot glue, and I'm going to glue it down onto some poster board just to give it a nice back and to make it have a little bit more support. Next, I'm using Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster, and we're going to give this tile one coat. You can also recreate this look using 2 coats of apple barrel paint in the color Antique Parchment. I took my blow dryer and dried it just to speed things up a little bit, and while it's continuing to dry, I took a Dollar Tree sign and I'm removing the paper because it came off really easy. This isn't absolutely necessary, but the paper did have some bumps because there was glitter on it, and I am bending the sign gently in the opposite direction to straighten it out. I don't know if you guys know that does work if you're really gentle with it. I'm using the Dollar Tree wallpaper tile for the next step, and we're just going to apply this on the front of that sign. Using my scissors, I'm going to cut it out, and to clean up the edges, I'm going to be taking a nail file and giving it a gentle sand. Next, I'm using some hot glue on the poster board side, and we're going to go ahead and glue the stocking down on top of the wallpaper. Using apple barrel paint in the color Pewter Gray, I'm giving this tile a very, very dry brush to bring out those beautiful designs. Now, just like you would with stencils where you use very little paint and you just keep building it up in layers, that's what I did with this tile until I got right about here. I love these designs and I really wanted them to pop. I think they're absolutely beautiful. And then I had some of this fur in my craft stash, and I believe it is from a Dollar Tree item, and it looked really cheap on the Dollar Tree item, so I tore it off, almost threw it away, and I thought, no, I should keep that in case I need that, and it works perfect for this craft, I think. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down. It's really skinny like a ribbon, so I had to glue it in 3 different strips. If anyone remembers where this is from, what product it's on in the Dollar Tree, leave a comment down below, please. I would love to remember. I just can't, and it's so frustrating because I just tore it off about a month ago. But anyway, look at how cute it is. It's the perfect topping for a stocking. Now we're using some pine. This is off of Amazon. It's super cheap. I leave the link down below the video in the description box. You just click the word more and a drop down menu will appear, and it will show you the pine that I am using for this project if you would like to get some too. Dollar Tree also sells beautiful pine. I add some different types of pine just to make it look more realistic and give it different texture and dimension. Now I'm taking some jingle bells that I got from the Dollar Tree. I'm using Dollar Tree twine, and I'm tying it on, and then I'm securing the knot with a little bit of hot glue, and I did 3 bells all together. Once I had them at the height I liked, I tied a knot at the top, and now we're going to glue them underneath the pine so that they hang down onto the stocking. Next, I'm using these snowflakes that I got from Temu and these berries that I got from the Dollar Tree for a little bit of embellishment. I'm going to go ahead and secure the bells down with the knot on the twine so that you don't see the knot on the twine anymore. And it also holds the bells in place and makes it look like they're heavier and that they're kind of cascading down really pretty. And I do that. You don't have to. I just think it looks better. And I decided that it needs a little bit more pine coming down, so I added 2 small pieces at the bottom, and then I'm using the Walmart twine for a bow. Now I'm using the color Nutmeg from Apple Barrel Paint, and I'm going to gently give it a border just to make it look a little bit distressed. And I just love that. You don't have to do that. I just think it looks prettier. So taking my brush, I just put a little bit of paint on the edge, and I use my finger to smear it and give it a nice little stain and border. Now I decided that my stocking needs to match the edge of this little picture. So I'm carefully taking the nutmeg brown, and I'm also doing the same thing to the edge of the stocking. So if you do this craft and you like the look and you want to copy what I did, do the stocking first before you glue it down, but it still came up absolutely beautiful. I just had to go really slow and take my time. I'm lifting up the pine to make sure I get underneath, but that's it. We're all done. I love this. I think it's so beautiful. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Of the 8x10 frames from Dollar Tree and 4 of the tiles. So you just take the glass out of those frames, keep the cardboard backing, and I'm giving it 1 coat of Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. And now you take the cardboard backing there and you trace out on the tile. I took my time doing this really slowly to make sure that the center little design was totally centered in the middle of my frame. And I highly recommend that you use clamps, whatever you have to do when you're trimming these to fit, because they are slippery, they move around. But once you have your template, I'm showing you how it doesn't move. It's like a little puzzle piece. It sits on top of the other tiles because the groove fits into the indentation on the underside. Totally helpful, but I still clamped it. So we're cutting 4 all together. Now I'm taking the same color Plaster, same paint, chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm going to go ahead and paint all 4 of these tiles and set them aside to dry. Once they're dry, I'm taking the color Nutmeg from Apple Barrel Paint because I wanted a warm cinnamon type color. I thought that was really pretty for Christmas, and I'm just gently dry brushing over the top. Then wherever it's too dark, I go back with a little bit of Plaster. I kind of like that veiling effect that has if you go over it again with the lighter color, and I do that to all 4. Now I'm hot gluing it on top of the little cardboard pieces that came in the back of the frames, and I'm putting all of them back into their frames. So you're just taking hot glue, gluing the edges together. I'm choosing to use poster board to reinforce this. This is actually feather light. It's going to have the illusion of looking heavy, which is awesome, but it's going to be feather light. And I just measured to cut out a strip of poster board there that I can glue on the seams. Every seam will be reinforced with poster board. So you might wonder, why isn't she doing the craft sticks? Because you'll see people do craft sticks. It's because craft sticks, paint sticks, all of it adds weight. And that's the last thing you want to do when you don't have a structurally sound. I mean, you have a lot of seams here that could potentially come apart. Now, if you use a good quality hot glue, I'm using Gorilla Glue or Surebonder, that increases the odds it's not going to come apart. Or if you reinforce it like Holly is right now, it won't come apart. Also, you need to use high heat on your glue gun when you do these kind of crafts where there's potential for things to come apart. It just holds better because it melts all the compounds down in the hot glue more thoroughly, so it can bond together better. I read it, not sure about the chemistry behind it, but just trust me, you need high heat. So as you can see, I made a cross on every single one of the vulnerable seams with the poster board Plenty Pot glue, and now we're going to add even more poster board on the back of this. Makes it look nicer, and we're going to keep those 2 hooks open on the back side because that's how we're going to hang it. Make sure you do that. But it makes it so that it looks nicer, and also it makes it so it will never ever come apart because I'm gluing every single section. I'm gluing the back of the cardboard, which is anchored in by those metal pieces. I'm gluing the seams, which is, reinforced with additional poster board, and I'm literally not adding any weight at all. Now, because these seams are so small, I'm able to go over it with chalk paint and fill them in. If you have bigger seams, you might want to use spackling, but chalk paint did just fine. And this is a wreath I got super cheap for like $3 from Temu. I thought it was so cute. And here's some ticking stripe material I bought on Amazon. I will leave the link down below in the description box if you would like some. I'm cutting it in strips for ribbon today. And I'm also using this Dollar Tree fabric here today, which is almost like a thin muslin. I bought this originally thinking it would be awesome to print on because it's totally thin enough to go through a printer. It is short, so you can see I have to cut 2 strips here. And the way I get my fabric to fray on the edges is just take a really sharp scissor and the blade, rub it along the edges like you saw me do there, and it works if you don't want to put it through your washing machine tons of times. And because it's short, I'm having to glue the 2 ends together, but don't worry, you're not going to see it with the way we tie our bow. I just tie it with some of the Dollar Tree twine, and I'm going to tie the red ticking stripe fabric the exact same way. Next, we're going to give a nice edge to the bottom of these bows. I put the red ticking stripe bow on top of the cream colored bow, and I tied them together, and then I'm going to tie them on the wreath from Temu that I got where I'd like it. I'm just putting it kind of anywhere where I thought the flowers looked nice, and then I'm tying it with twine so I can change that out seasonally depending on what season it is. And I'm using some of the red ticking stripe ribbon that I also got from Amazon to hold this up. To reinforce it, I'm doing duct tape on one of the strips and then duct tape on the other strip so it's separate. Now I'm using some of the Dollar Tree black wire, and I'm tying it through those little hangers that I told you to leave open, and this is so I can adjust the height and level it this way. So when you hang it, if it's off balance, you just twist that side of your little looped wire a bit more and you'll shorten it that way, and you just keep doing it until you get it right on your wall. And this also gives you, easy access. It's much easier to hang it on nails in a wall or command strips or whatever you're using if you have wire on the back. And lastly, we're going to add these absolutely beautiful, juicy looking berries that I also got from Amazon. They're down below in the description box to make this festive and ready for Christmas. I love this one. Let me know what you think. You're going to need 3 Dollar Tree tiles and a snowman form. You could also do this out of cardboard if you wanted to, because we are covering it with the tiles. So I'm being really careful here to get the pattern in the middle. I just like the center to be balanced. You don't have to do that. I just like to do that. And I traced it with a permanent marker. I did cut off the edge first because it's only sticky around the edges, and it makes it a lot easier to trace once you do that. Now I'm taking masking tape and I'm just covering this whole form with some masking tape so that the tiles have something to stick to when I go to hot glue it down. I do have my glue gun turned on low heat because these tiles do have a tendency to warp and melt if you're using high heat glue. So I recommend you use either cold glue or low heat hot glue. I also chose to cut my circles just a little bit bigger than what I traced, just in case I needed to make some adjustments afterwards. Now here's where it gets fun, because you can take and reshape the little hat. I thought the hat that the Dollar Tree form has is a little bit too square and harsh, so I chose to make kind of a more playful hat shape for the top of his head. Right there, and I'm still keeping that pattern in the middle there the best I can, and then I just eyed the rim of the hat. Next, I'm taking some Apple Barrel acrylic white paint, and I'm going to give this guy one coat of white paint. I chose to glue the hat piece down after I painted his head. I don't know why, it was just going to bother me if I thought his whole head wasn't painted, so you can always glue it on all at the same time. And I'm painting it black, and you'll see me use a Dollar Tree cutting mat that I slide underneath the rim of the hat to protect the snowman's face from getting black paint on it. There I go, right there. That makes a nice little protective thing. You could also use a piece of foil if you don't have the Dollar Tree cutting mat. So what I discovered with this little guy is that his neck is way too thin. Look at that. It's a skinny little neck, and snowmen usually have thicker necks. So what I did to compensate for that is I grabbed some buffalo check ribbon that was wired, and I just wrapped it around and around till I got more bulk in his neck, and I glue it in the back. And then now we're going to have a nice thick neck, and the ribbon matches the material enough where you won't notice it. It's complementary, see? It works really, really well, and his neck looks better. So I'm tacking the scarf down with a little bit of glue to hold it in place where I want it to be, and then I'm going to put little slits on the end of each of these pieces of his scarf there, and then I'm going to tack it in the neck. Tacking is where you just put a little bit of glue to hold it in place. I'm even going to make the scarf look like it's blowing in the wind. See how I'm ruffling it? And you just put glue down in little sections there to make it look like he's blowing, so it looks more 3D and realistic. And this is some ticking stripe material I have left over. Save your scraps, you guys. This is what they come in handy for. And I made a bow just to add some more color, and I'm gluing it in the center of his scarf. And then I'm going to go and glue some more buffalo check ribbon around the top of his hat so that it all ties into a theme. This is a leftover bow that I tore off of the Valentine's Day tag that I used for the Christmas stocking DIY in last week's video. I save my bows from Dollar Tree if they're decent and they look cute in case I want to use them, and I thought this tied in perfectly with the ticking stripe material fabric bow that I put on him on his neck. And you saw me tack down the corner of that material as well. I don't know if you missed that, but I did. And I'm adding some pine in here just for some embellishment. We're going to go ahead and add pine in his scarf, add pine in at the top, add a red berry for a pop of color, and some of those little bells. I add 3 of them on the bottom. Just get this guy festive for Christmas here. I take some white paint and I end up frosting up the bells. I end up frosting up the berry, and then I go ahead and add a little bit of frost on the top of his hat. And if you've been keeping up with all of the little episodes in this Christmas series this year, I have been using these little red peppermint candies from Temu a lot as embellishment. So just to keep it in a theme so everything kind of comes together, I'm going to glue one in the center of his bow, and it also adds a really nice sense of playfulness. Last, I'm going to add a tie just so we can hang him up, and we're all done. And of course, I think he is so cute. You're going to need a Dollar Tree wooden Christmas tree, a wooden crate, and one of these silver stick-on tiles that are a little bit 3D. And by the way, if you happen to live by a Family Dollar, you can still get these tiles for $1 instead of $1.25. That's just a little bit of a helpful tip there if you live by one. So I start off by cutting the center out, and these are ridiculously easy to cut. Like, I was so stressed how I was going to get straight lines around the curves, and I ended up just kind of leaning my blade into the curve on the side there, right there, and it automatically stopped where the curve was, and I'm not even moving my blade, I'm moving the actual tile around, and it cut like butter. So no intimidation there, go ahead and go for it. And when you're done cutting the center out, it makes a really cute piece to save for another DIY. Look at that, kind of looks like a fancy snowflake, or it definitely could make another DIY. So I go ahead and I paint this green, and it's just acrylic paint, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and let it dry. I blow dried a little bit, but I'm going to let it dry. This is definitely an inspired craft from a creator in a Dollar Tree group that just posted this. It's just a private person. Her name is Summer. Somebody copied her, and then they go back and say, oh, I finally got a chance to make one. Thank you so much, Summer. And I couldn't find out for the life of me who Summer was, but I believe it's not anybody who owns a social platform. It's just somebody who's very creative, like all of you out there. So thank you so much, Summer, whoever you are, for the great idea of cutting out the center of this tree to put an image. That is awesome. So you could do any image in here. You could do a snowman, a church, a Christmas village, a little Christmas house, Santa Claus, whatever you want. And there are so many wonderful online free resources like clip art, the fairies.graphic.com. Maybe it's Graphics Fairy, but if you Google that, it will come up. Either one, actually, because I've gotten confused before and Googled both, and she comes up. So, but there are so many wonderful online free resources that you can go to find imagery. So I'm gluing this down just along the edge. I don't glue the entire tree because in the past I have had experiences that sometimes the heat from the glue will melt the tile. So I'm using my glue gun on low heat. You can use high heat if you only have a high heat glue gun. Just be sure to kind of let it cool down a few seconds before you go and press it down, just so you don't risk, warping it. So now I'm taking a baby wipe and some antique wax, and I'm just going to go around the edge of this tree, and then I'm also going to go around the center part of it just to give it a little bit of dimension and to highlight the parts that I want to stand out. Hey everyone, here are the other places you can follow me. My Facebook is brand new. I share other things over there, so be sure to check it out and follow me. You can also share your crafts there as well. Next, using a watered down version of the antique wax with just a little bit of black paint in there to make it more like a dark walnut, I'm taking a baby wipe and I'm staining a Dollar Tree wooden crate, and then in the little grooves there I have to use a brush and then just wipe over with my baby wipe because I can't reach it with the actual baby wipe. It doesn't work. So just do that if you have the same problem. I have to dry this little crate because I'm going to be gluing the tree onto the actual crate. Usually we push, the tree like behind the crate, but this time it's on, I'll show you right here. It sits on top of the crate. See how the little bottom end of the tree is sitting literally on top of the crate, which is great for support. It's a great idea. And then when I turn it around, I decide, you know what, we need to stain the back of this, definitely. So I go ahead and I do that. And this is what it should look like so far. So I take some packing foam from an Amazon package, save everything you guys, it saves money, and I put it inside there so that I don't have to use so much Spanish moss, which is also from the Dollar Tree. I'm using Dollar Tree pine cones that I got last Christmas, the Dollar Tree berries that I got last Christmas, Dollar Tree burlap ribbon right there, and then the ticking stripe ribbon is from Amazon. I have a link down below in my description box. The pine that I use is varied, and it's either from Dollar Tree, Amazon, or Temu, and I definitely bought these from Amazon. I'm showing you it was a great deal. 30 pieces for only $10. I love those rusted primitive stars. They are so cute. They're going to kind of be my highlight this year for Christmas. That link will be down below in the description box if you're interested. But we're all done. I love this so much. Let me know what you guys think. If you had as much fun as I did in today's video, here's some videos you might enjoy watching next. And until the next one, breathe deep, fret not, and do things that make you happy.